Shireen, we have to recognize that the vocabulary of gender justice is undergoing a change without much reflection. On this panel today, we spoke about women from the context of the labor market. Not many of us prioritize women as entrepreneurial leaders, as though we as a gender are to feed just the labor market. So when we talk about the vocabulary of gender justice, we spoke today in this House about emancipation of women. And I'm very proud that the Prime Minister changed that narrative, and we saw a tectonic shift where we now say women-led development, which means that for any nation to prosper, women have to be the helm of economic affairs. We have a female finance minister. That being said, I want to just elaborate on one or two challenges. We need to recognize that we will not have a one-size-fits-all solution. We have differentiated national potentials. We have differentiated national responsibilities and national challenges. Now, people say that technology is a great leveler and enabler for all genders. But what is the language of technology today available for women? I will not speak from any other experience but the Indian experience. We are looking at an age of automation. The language of automation is English. India has 16,000 dialects, 125 languages which are constitutionally recognized. If you want to empower the agency of women technologically, do we have that technology in my native languages? That is one issue that needs to be addressed. It is not only a solution that we are seeking for gender justice, I think it has great financial potential for companies. The second issue is that when you talk about the presidency and India at the helm of that affair, we also look at the digital transformation. Gabriella spoke about the red flagging of health spend. Now let's take another Indian example, which is the Ayushman Bharat program, which is the world's most, I think, elaborate, ambitious health program. We put money behind ensuring that for 1,300 diseases, which includes cardiovascular issues and many other challenges that emanate from the health systems, 26,000 hospitals across the country are impaneled, servicing 100 million families, which means at least 100 million women, where they can seek access free of cost for 1,300 diseases. Now, what is the impact? Societally and culturally, it was presumed that issues like breast cancer and cervical cancer are not largely spoken of, given the cultural context of closed societies. That is the presumption one had. Now, if you look at just one component of the success of the Ayushman Bharat program, the health program, we have in the past 2 years seen 130 million Indian women get themselves scanned for cervical cancer and breast cancer and receive treatment if they deemed it medically fit, free of cost. Governance and democracy has delivered on the health aspect, at least in India. So what is the agency that we bring to the G20 presidency? That when you talk about digital transformation, it need not be limited again to fiscal engagements, to building of corporations, to building of enterprise. It can have a cumulative effect across various segments. Academics. We had a stagnant education policy for 3 decades. We brought about a new education policy. Did we do it only in the halls of power in New Delhi? No, we did not. The Prime Minister ensured that we have over 260,000 village education councils. All the councils were called upon. Universities and college systems and parent-teacher associations across all districts of India were asked, what is the kind of academic support you seek for your children? The Parents' Alliance, the Alliance of Young Students were all called upon. Then a policy was arrived upon. And one of the benefits of that collaboration between government and citizens is that for the first time, India now has a gender inclusion fund in our education policy to help build academic infrastructure, particularly aimed at young girls and women. So the other issue which we hope through W20 to also leverage is the desire to ensure that we transition from innovation, especially in the gender space, to enterprise. Because a lot is left to be done in that segment. Today, 42% of STEM graduates in India are women. how do I encourage them that innovate for enterprise? And I think if that becomes a global call for action, much change can happen. Because do we reduce women only to consumption of technology, or do we want to support them to become leaders of technological institutions or technological enterprise? So I think that the G20 gives us a unique opportunity to speak about our experiences, speak about our commitment, but also say to the G20 coalition that we hope that this expression of experience somewhere percolates to the global south, to empower the global south, because we as a part of the presidency are saying that this is not about the Indian future. This is about global future and gender justice for all women across all geographies.